Hello and welcome along to another end of season review from this FM22 One Club story with Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 155 today, and spoiler alert, if you haven't been here for the season, we have done it. We have won our first Premier League title. It is a massive moment for me, personally, in my FM playing career, but also for this football club to get one of the big ones with a few years to spare in this save as well. What it means is, with areas to improve that became very clear throughout the season, we've actually got a chance now to push on, have a big summer and really go for it to try and win the Champions League. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about our plans. We're going to talk about where we need to improve this summer. We'll utilise the data hub to do that a little bit, and then we'll decide what we're going to do with the squad, because this summer transfer window better be blockbuster. If you're looking forward to going through all that with me and seeing how we plan to bolster our squad this summer, then please do put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. Of course, it's not just here. We had a dramatic finish to the season. We had a big one with Viborg yesterday, which you can find in the eye above. It was baffling and dramatic, to say the least. You can also find Sunday's double header, where we had our new experiment and our new episode of Top 3, and all the other links in the description below, as well as the ways to support the channel too. But thank you very much for coming along as always, because this is going to be, I think, probably the most important moment of this save. If we want to win the Champions League before the end of it, we have to have a huge summer. We know very clearly where our issues are. And I know that I'm a man who doesn't like to spend money and likes to make profit, but this year we go big. There is absolutely no alternative. So let's start by having a look at all of the usual stuff in the inbox. We are back exactly where we finished off, having won the Premier League and the FA Cup. We tried our best to throw it away, but we've done it. We've led the club to glory. We've challenged for and won the title. And we have now got to look ahead to the next challenge to make sure we don't stagnate at this stage. So we're going to get through all the usual stuff here, and then we'll be back for the season review and head over to the data hub, which is going to form a part of today's episode. And here it is, for the first time, starting as a semi-pro club in the lowest league of England. I have got an end of season review with a Premier League trophy. The FA Cup's there as well. Of course, it should have been a domestic treble. We took an early lead in the League Cup final v Southampton, threw it away again. And then we got that awful Champions League draw. Win your group and then get Real Madrid. Not really fair, is it? In terms of signings this year, we did go bigger than previous seasons. There's no doubt about it. We've got a young goalkeeper for the future who I'm pretty sure will take over from John Moore. He's a very good keeper. He's only 23. He's played in the Champions League groups and the Cup games. He was brilliant. John Mellon, 50 million at right back, worth every penny, because not only was he very good when he played, but he improved Dominic Chauvin as well, pushed him to that next level. He's got real genuine competition there. We've got Frederick Anders, who was a bit disappointing, scored a couple of massive goals, but threw his toys out the pram and didn't contribute that much. And then Martin Klaas, good at right back, some very bizarre decisions under pressure towards the end. It's an area where I will be looking to improve, but he'll still probably be involved in the squad. So with those ones in, and when you look at a comparison at the ones that went out, it has been a very interesting season. Of course, for the second time in this save, after Mario Rica, we've lost our best player at the club, and it was another Uruguayan, German Moreira, going to Barcelona to earn 425 grand a week, and he'd still be our best player if he was here now. Tyrese Ricketts we got an obscene amount of money for, and he's only scored 4 goals for Bayern Munich, laughably. Arlan did really well at Leicester, but that was changing of the guard, and the same for the likes of Josh Hayes, Harrison, Peebles, Danilo Jose. We've improved in all those areas, so bar Moreira, it's been a really good year. The loans out is where it starts to get a bit more interesting. We've got decisions to make because Dean Arthur has now officially become a wonder kid. I think he's ready to take over from Kay Striker as fourth choice centre-half, but we then need to get him game time. We've got the likes of Rojas, Wilson, Ostrakovic, Afis Akbar, by the way. What a youngster he's becoming. A lot of players that we need to make decisions on this year, and then a couple further down where we'll try and get a bit of money into the club, but I don't know how successful we'll be. Let's move on to the results for the season. We did it by 2 points despite being miles clear at one stage. 10 clear, and we took it to the final day. And if you look at that form towards the end of the season, 3 successive defeats before the Birmingham match, 3 draws in 5 before that. We only actually won 3 of our last 9. We stuttered over the line, let's be brutally honest. Fitzrubeck top scorer at 15 goals, the lowest for some time, maybe even our lowest ever in the Premier League. Definitely shows where we need to improve. In the Champions League, we got the same misfortune that we had last year. Last year, we got Real Madrid in the quarters, this time the last 16. They're just one of those few sides that are better. We need a lucky draw if we're to do better than that. The FA Cup, of course, we won. Really good run in that one as well. Lots of Premier League sides, lots of good results. Didn't let in a goal the whole tournament. I never realised that. And in the Carabao Cup, a little bit more of a stutter, to be honest. The Derby game was tough. Southampton in the final. We should have won it once we went one up. Alberto Vaz played really well, but wasn't enough to win us the trophy. 6-0 win against Sporting, the biggest win. The 1-0 at Inter, we watched that on camera, was the match to remember. We got battered in that game. And Martin, at the stage of the season where he basically kept us afloat, as you saw by his brace against Sporting there as well, he really was key. And we can't forget that at the end of the season. The goal of the season came in the FA Cup. That was the final, Alberto Vaz. It was a good goal. We saw it a couple of episodes ago, but I'd imagine there was one better than that at some point. Maybe importance playing a part too. All of the broadcast and prize money will catch up once all of the end of season stuff is sorted in the Champions League. But the shirt sales, now the big midfielders, the club reputation is worldwide. We are an elite powerhouse. We are officially, and I'll admit it now, we are no longer little Hemel Hempstead Town. So let's see how we lined up. Martin gets the number 10 nod there. Torres and Strubeck in as the strikers. And Jura and Hannafan centre-half. No Zaruk, despite having the best average rating of the three and winning awards for the league. That's odd, but still, an area we need to improve. Let's get through to history in the making, because John Moore made the most league appearances for the club, got 1 year on his contract, won't currently sign a new deal. That's something we're going to have to work on. 16 yellow cards for Coronel. I never noticed that. Obviously, the tracking back from the attacking duty is costing him a few little dirty yellow cards, shall we say, cynical challenges. And then Leon and Drecker, the wonder kid, he's got a couple in there. Young player of the season, great pass completion, goals for Strubeck, assists for Njo, and Murillo, signing of the season. Let's see how we can back it up. We'll have a look at the data hub and we'll have a look at the squad to see what our plans are for the summer. Because we have to kick on from here. Gotta say it now, Ignacio Jura's broken onto the bench for our best ever 11. But look at Kolkapek, we're still going strong in there. What a man, what a hero, we'll never forget him. The board are delighted at the progress. They want next season only the Europa League. That seems a little bit easy. Surely that'll go up as the summer ticks over. We'll do all the end of season stuff in a moment. But I've got to show you that Stamatis won the Young Player of the Year. He was absolutely brilliant. We win Manager of the Year, unsurprisingly. And in Team of the Year, Carlos Torres is included. That's a striker who scored 12 goals, but only made 21 starts. Maybe I've been harsh on him this year. Scored over 20 the year before. Does he partner whoever we bring in this year? Because we've got to sign a striker. We'll worry about that in a minute, but let me go to the data hub first, because I want to show you where our difficulties are and why I feel we need to improve in certain areas. Let's start with the general performance. We haven't done this for many a season. As you would expect, we are above the league average. We're conceding less than our expected goals against, which suggests that our goalkeeper and our defenders are doing a good job. We're scoring more than we're expected to score, which on paper looks great. But we need to dive into that a bit more, because our strikers aren't scoring and our midfielders are popping up with loads of goals. Let's see why. So we've actually got a fairly usual looking stat on here. Our expected goals is fine. Our shots per game is good. Our shots on target ratio could be better. So is that where our strikers are maybe just missing a few of those chances? The dribbles and the cross completion are always going to be lower, playing a narrow formation, and everything else is very good as you'd expect. But that shot on target ratio just suggests that our front two aren't hitting the target as often. And if we can get a sublime attacker who A, can get in behind more often to take more chances, or can be a better finisher, one of those two things could make the difference for us. So let's go and look at the squad and see where we're going to improve, because the team attacking is great apart from the strikers. The team defending is great apart from maybe a few mistakes in the wide areas. So let's see what my plan is for the summer, and we're going to have to take contractual news into this as well. So we had a deep dive look at the squad last summer. I'm not going to get too invested and too interested in looking at all the profiles and that like last year. However, we've got to look at areas where there's contractual issues. And the two big ones that stand out are Ignacio Jura and John Moore. John Moore I'd like to keep. Ignacio Jura, I'm not that fussed about because he's injury prone. He's not as good as Zaruk. I don't get why he's above him on the average rating because Zaruk has been the better player. I think it actually might just be because he's at the back post at corners, so he pops up with 1 or 2 more goals. If it weren't for that, and I might do it with Zaruk next year, he'll look like an absolute superstar. The rest of the team is not too bad. We've got 4 strikers, but I'd like to get 1 superstar in. We've managed to keep control of the wages till now. No one's on more than 140 grand a week. That's going to change this summer. We are now an elite side. We're established in the Champions League. We're a top quality club that's won the Premier League, and we've got to go harder. We're not going to go nuts. We're not going to go ridiculous. But if we find a world-class player, we'll pay them what they're worth. And that is what changes from now. So we got to hope for a couple of big sales to raise a bit of money because, and a few of you will be very surprised to hear this if you're regulars to the channel, 238 million is not enough for what I want to do. I want to be spending between 250 and 300 on 3 world-class young players, or players that are then going to be worth that 175, 200 later down the line. To do that, we have to make adjustments. So if John Moore doesn't stay, if we get another goalkeeper, that'll be a straight swap. In defence, K Striker goes, Dean Arthur steps up. That's where we save a bit of money and hopefully get 20, 30 million quid into the club. Ignacio Jura goes. How much can we get for him with 1 year on his deal? Maybe 40, 50 million like Moreira. That would be lovely. The player that comes in to replace him, probably going to be worth more. And it's actually the centre-half and centre-forward. We've got scout reports that probably suggest who we're going to get already, if we get our first target. In midfield, we've got to make decisions because the midfield we've got is very good. We don't really have that absolute superstar in the number 10 role, but I don't think it can be a priority this summer because Collins and Joe is a very good player. Martin has stepped up an awful lot of the time, and we can drop to the flat 3 if we need to. I feel like the centre-half position has to be a priority, and so does centre-forward. So based on that, we might not be able to bring another in. And then that leaves us with the other issue of left-back. Rodrigo Delgado wants to go. He's requested a transfer. So if we can get good money for him with 2 years left on his deal as the backup left-back, I've got no issue with that. He's not good enough going forward for our modern-day attacking team. And Martin Klaas, while he is that, has proved he's not reliable enough defensively for every single match. So we looked at the left-backs we tried to sign last summer. I might see if any of them are about again, because I feel that's one of the areas we are slightly weaker than other teams in our position. And that's something we have to address. We look into midfield. I've talked about the quality. Stamatis is now our new German Moreira as a box-to-box. We've got Miguel Coronel, who's basically as good. We've got Alberto Vaz, who must be one of the best backups in the league. And Luis has improved with football this year. He's getting better and better and better. If we need to keep a Rojas or a Wilson when they come back from loan, then great. Even an Afis Agbar, maybe only a year away from the first team squad. So we are well covered in that area, and our investment in previous years has paid off. But up front, it's not just a decision of who we sign. With Astrakovic coming back, and with these 4, it's who do we let go as well. Vitz Rubek was the top scorer this year, and he is the best finisher at the club. I have no doubt that, again, with 15 in 23, he's done pretty well. It's just about whether he's got that out-and-out quality to be a star. In an ideal world, if I'm looking 12 months from now, we'll have signed a big striker this summer and a big striker next summer, and Torres and Shrubek will be our backups. And if that's the case, we're in a really good position. The issue is, Frederick Anders joined in January. He's got so much to give, but he's not delivered. And he's not got the great personality either. So I wonder if he might be a short stay at this club, someone who moves on before too long. And the same goes for Stanley Azoma, I'm afraid. Everything looks phenomenal on paper, but he's very short. He's not got that physicality that some of the others had. And 7 goals in 18 games, whilst he does a lot of defensive work, it's not good enough. He's a very good striker, but is he a great one? Regardless, if we sell him this year or next, we will make a profit. Because we signed him for 34, we'll get at least 50. But I'm not sure that he's the man to take us to the next level. And for a long time, I thought he probably would be. But 13 goals in 54 league appearances, it's not much I can defend about that. So maybe we give him a little run, try and get a big January sale like Ricketts, like Ricker. but I'm not sure that we can afford to do it and retain the Premier League title here. So Azoma, I think, is the most likely casualty. In the long term, though, I'm looking at what happens this summer, what happens next. If in a year's time, Srubek and Torres are the backups and two new boys are the strikers, I'll be very happy. And I think we could then win the Champions League. But I'm interested to get your thoughts in this in the comments, because we talked about it when we were building for this Premier League title. We talked about sort of sacrificing a year to get to where we wanted to go to. And in the end, it worked out. We fell down a couple of places in the league, snuck fourth, and in the year after, we've gone and won the league. Only just, but still, we've done it. Do we have to take the same approach with the Champions League? Look at next season as a rebuilding phase. Make sure you're in that top four again. Have half a new defence, have half a new attack. And then maybe the year after, you're ready to go with a properly world-class team. Because if you look beyond that, there's not many people even that have got 2 years on their contracts that I would consider long-term. De Vita I'd like to keep. Murillo, of course. But am I going to be broken-hearted if Srubek goes next summer? Maybe not, depending on who we can sign up front. Delgado I'm planning to sell anyway. Striker I'm planning to sell anyway. Everyone else, you can sort of see being here for at least 2 more seasons. So I think that's the sort of chunk of development we have to work towards now. But let me know if you agree or disagree, whether you think we're going to go massive. Because if we look at the scouts and if we look at the players in those scouting positions, we are now basically seeing a birth of brilliant footballers across the world. Look at Kevin Herve, who we tried to sign last summer, now asking to leave. He's on 110 grand a week, but look at the transfer fee they want. Do we bide our time and wait for the perfect moment to pounce, or do we go for it early? We look at that left winger that was at City. Do we maybe try and find a way of signing him? What are we going to do up front? There's loads of players available, but not many that are young enough and high quality enough to suit what I want. There are so many unanswered questions. There are even brilliant players in positions I wouldn't necessarily sign. But then a 6'6" centre-half from City, that could be the answer to everything. There are big decisions to make this year. And of course the main one might be one that we're not planning for. If John Moore doesn't sign a new contract, do we get a goalkeeper? If so, we know who the star player is. We know who the best scout report's for. It's this guy, Novica Stokic. £64 million, not a bad transfer fee. Wants 225 grand a week. That might be a sign that we have to step up. He's very good. He's got future development in him. But are we going to be able to compete with the other clubs when it comes to wages? And although we're now Premier League champions, are we still more desirable or less desirable than the other clubs in that top 6 and across Europe? Because we haven't done it on the continental stage. And that might harm us as it did last summer when it comes to new signings. We'll of course wait and see how all that pans out, and we will be back in a couple of days' time for the Community Shield and a summer transfer special. I'm hoping it's going to be blockbuster. I'm hoping it's going to be big. Fingers crossed we'll get the signings we want and maybe get a few players tied down to new deals. For now though, let me know where else you think we should target. Have I missed anyone in the squad that we should have let go? Is there anyone else who you think we should be looking to sign? And what do you think of our season overall? It's a massive moment. Can we get that bit of luck in the Champions League? Avoid Real Madrid, get a goal-scoring striker, and hopefully push on to the next level? Because that's the big one that's left remaining. If you did enjoy this season review and want to find out how we get on this summer, then please do chuck a thumbs up on the video and subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Make sure you check out yesterday's season finale with Viborg up in the eye above if you haven't already. There's links up there to all the other playlists and much more down in the description below. But above my head now, I will put yesterday's Viborg episode. Please do give it a go. And I'll see you back here in a couple of days' time for what should be an absolutely mega summer transfer special. I'll see you there.